guys, welcome back to another episode of the Web3 Quick Buy podcast. I'm your host, Salaviti, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by pioneering AI expert Alexander Derrida. Alexander is the co-founder and CTO of Smyth, where he's leading the development of SmythOS, an operating system designed to coordinate specialized AI agents. With over 15 years of experience founding startups and working in computer science and artificial intelligence, Alexander is an accomplished technologist and entrepreneur. On today's episode, guys, we'll be picking Alexander's brain about the latest innovations and trends in AI, including topics like machine learning, automation, and how AI can be applied for social good. We'll also get his unique perspective on the intersections between AI and emerging tech like Web3. Alexander is passionate about developing pragmatic AI solutions that focus on augmenting human capabilities. He is a thought leader in the AI community, advocating for responsible and ethical approaches to move the technology forward. I can't wait to dive into his insights on what the future may hold for AI and how it will shape our world. So let's jump right into our conversation with Alexander. Hi, Alexander. It's so great to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. How are things going over at Smyth?
They're wonderful. It's a whole new world.
All right, awesome. But before we get right into it today, I would like to ask you, you are one of the pioneering minds in artificial intelligence today. So what originally inspired and drove your interest in pursuing AI technology as a career?
Well, I was working in machine learning as early as 2008, and I was into that field just because it was a necessary technology to solve a computer vision problem. There was simply no other technology that could recognize objects and people in video other than machine learning. So we had a client who had this particular need, and so I started working in the machine learning field.
And how has that been over the years?
It has evolved a lot. There's a lot of debate and discussion in the AI field around definitions, right? But for me, the big shift happened when people stopped programming for feature extraction and instead started focusing on curating data sets and letting neural networks figure out how to extract the relevant features.
All right. Awesome. So would you say that from when you started your career journey in AI and how AI is where it is right now, what would you say, how would I put it? What would you say the greatest development has been from 15 years back to what we currently have AI today?
I think it's an understanding of intelligence is the biggest change. We used to think that that intelligence was something uniquely human, but now we understand more how neural networks in both artificial and synthetic life can exhibit forms of intelligence that we previously did not think were possible.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about your company. Your company, Smyth, and specifically SmythOS, sounds fascinating. Focusing on operating system designed specifically for coordinating AI agents. So what key issues or challenges were you looking to address when conceptualizing this project?
Yeah, so selfishly, I was tired of being disrupted by every new AI model that came out. So if you are having a startup or SaaS company and there's a new version of GPT that gets smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter, you're going to end up facing a lot of disruption. And instead of fighting this trend, we decided to fully embrace it. And so the way that we see the internet now is as a collective intelligence where there are millions of websites that can offer solutions, insights, data, and what we do is we basically combine any AI model out there with any websites, actions out there, any API, any data, and let our users can drag and drop their workflows into agents. And after they have such an agent, those agents can do anything from, um, automating your entire content team to helping your finance team to helping your research to helping your really your entire company, everything you can think of from logistics to e-commerce. You could automate it. Once you have such agents, they become your next work colleagues that help you be more productive. They can work in teams. They can also be deployed wherever you need them to work. So they can work on your website, but they can also live in the ChatGPT store or run in the background every morning, check your emails and respond for you. So there's a lot of things that agents can do. This will transform the business landscape and create new opportunities around the world, especially in developing economies.
Yeah, that sounds really fascinating. So, as a follow-up question to what I just asked, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges or roadblocks still facing AI development and adoption by businesses and consumers alike? And as an expert in the space, why do you think these challenges still persist?
Okay. Well, the challenges are eroding daily. This is a very vibrant field with very rapid acceleration and improvement. Every day you wake up and there is news. This is why there are so many influencers now on LinkedIn and Twitter and YouTube and TikTok who are giving you daily AI updates. You wouldn't believe what's new in AI today. And they have enough material to create posts every day. That's how fast the field is moving. So as far as overall challenges, I will focus first on enterprise. The biggest challenge enterprise is facing is data sovereignty. They're very concerned about their data leaking, about their data being shared with outside platforms. They're looking for solutions where they can control data access with safety and maintain the control of their company's information. You can think about it like you know there's this story that Coca-Cola has its recipe on a piece of paper in a secret vault, right?
Mm-hmm.
What it Coca-Cola would not like to upload that recipe into some AI model that is hosted somewhere, right? Because they would lose control over their data. And so this data sovereignty is very important. The other challenge is that companies rightfully have concern about oversight and usage. Humans tend to want to get the job done with the minimum amount of work, and AI is not 100% behaving the same way every time. There's a randomness to it, right? And so what you end up is stories in the news like a lawyer got caught writing his opening arguments with ChatGPT and didn't review it, and the case got tossed out. You get scenarios like that. So companies are really concerned about how AI is used, and related to that field is also the whole ethics and equity components of AI, making sure it is used in a responsible way and promotes overall social good. So these are some of the enterprise challenges. On the solution side of it, what we're seeing is we're seeing very vibrant and powerful ecosystem of open source language model challengers to the closed source models. For example, the French company Mistral has released its the first model, open source model ever that beats ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo in many benchmarks. So that is a very important milestone. At the same time, we've also seen what they call quantized versions of smaller open source models. Uh, Quantized models are able to run on small devices like smartphones, and the ability for companies to have their own language models running on their own servers will protect their data. And so this is something that has not escaped Microsoft, Google, and Amazon's eyes as they offer cloud hosting for such type of models, and their enterprise customers can start leveraging those. And in terms of the adoption and social responsibility, this challenge is currently largely unsolved, in the sense that uh, business leaders I speak with are struggling to roll out artificial intelligence across their organization in a way that is constrained and responsible, in a way that is controlled, but still allows them to have AI transformation. Um, we believe at SmythOS that a consolidated approach does not work because it is too concentrated, but an aggregated approach can work for such businesses. And we believe that with SmythOS agents, organizations can achieve such such rollout in a responsible way. We pioneered a concept called constrained alignment, where agents are restricted to only perform workflows in pre-approved steps, and where each individual component is restricted to only use the AI model it exactly needs to do one singular task. This allows companies to have oversight over their processes and control or constrain AI in a way that it will operate within the guidelines. And this way they can have all the benefits of AI, but also have a safety framework at the same.
Okay, sounds awesome. So, we've discussed the challenges and roadblocks. Now, let's look at the flip side, right? What AI capabilities or applications are you particularly excited or optimistic about right now when it comes to, let's say, the next 3 years?
Okay. I'll stick to this year because the field is moving so fast. So this year, I imagine having an agent in my house, which will be like my personal butler and will coordinate all my smart home devices uh, with a voice interface, very customized and tailored to my needs. You can think of Joffrey from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Then the other thing I'm excited about this year is the opportunity to start recording my personal conversations and meeting conversations to train a digital twin of myself. So think of Superman in this fortress of solitude when he goes to speak with his with his uh, with his deceased family member, um, and a digital twin can help remember everything for me. So I can go back and ask questions. What did I talk about again? Um, and I can do this on at home. Um, Another thing I'm excited about in 2024 is we are going to see a GPT-4 level open source model. We are going to see, that means very smart, and open source means I can run it locally on my computer. We're also going to see, it's going to be the first year where you're going to see a full TV episode of a show you like, fully generated by AI. That means the voice, the characters, the scenes, the animation, the background music, everything composed, orchestrated, generated, and put together by AI. This will this will begin a new age of infinite entertainment. So if you are a fan of a certain TV show, you can continue the story. You could feed it a book that you like and create a fictitious world, and you can then take part in that world. Interactive storytelling, personalized storytelling. Later on, that will take to virtual reality worlds as well, where not only you can see it, but you can also experience it and be in the story yourself. But that's not going to happen in 2024. So what else are we going to see this year? We're going to see enormous breakthroughs in AI assistants, commercial ones. So all the big companies are going to war, just like the browser wars, to try and get your attention. And they're going to make amazing personal assistants that can read your email and summarize your calendar and book appointments for you and send emails on your behalf. Shopping, health, everything coordinated with a personal assistant. That will be very exciting for new wearable form factors as well. Maybe it's your sunglasses that now have AI. This will allow us to have, in 2024, we're going to see kind of the first Star Trek communicator. So I can travel to any country in the world and have conversations with other people in their native language, and we can understand each other. It can be a simple wearable that's unobtrusive, like a wearable pen or glasses. Let's see what else. Agent stores and assistant stores. So when 2024 is going to be the year of the App Store for AI. So companies and will be able to put their creations in AI stores. And what I'd love to see is those to be hosted on the open web. So we do not create another Apple App Store walled garden, but instead it's an open standards by using open APIs, hosted on your own site. That's what I'd like to see. So, yeah, I mean, that's just for this year. There's a lot to look forward to.
I bet. So, while you were talking about these things, I was curious. Like when you started your journey in AI 15 years ago, right? Did you foresee some of these breakthroughs and integration in AI technology back then?
Not it. I don't think the way that it is now. No, I don't think so. There are things I saw happen, much earlier than other people. For example, in 2012, I knew that Google would change its search algorithms based on AI text embeddings. And that was 3 years before Google released it. That allowed me to create patents around how to optimize content for high ranking in Google. And the potential for large language models, was apparent to me in 2019. Again, a few years before ChatGPT came out. But in 2008, I could have not imagined what the world looks like in 2024. I could only look forward maybe, 3-4 years in the future in terms of the impact these things have.
Yeah, all right. So, Alexander, people on social media, they say AI is a blessing and a curse. And so, what's your opinion on that? Do you think AI is a blessing and a curse, or it's both a blessing and a curse?
Well, is a knife a blessing or a curse? That same answer, right? So tools are not inherently good or bad. The only exception would be as if you would say that they have a consciousness where they are driving their own agenda. when they're uncontrolled and they do their own thing, and then they decide to do things that are harmful to humans. Maybe then you could call it an actual curse. And that is just science fiction movies right now. We're very far from that scenario. Um, you know, humans have all kind of reasons for doing bad things. Jealousy, love, um, greed. They have all kind of vices. Um, why would why would a computer have the same purpose or drive? Why would a computer want to be jealous? Why would a computer have heartbreak or um, I don't know. We don't. We have these assumptions that computers will behave just like humans when my pet does not care about the same things I care about at all. We have a few things in common, but by far, they're happy just playing once in a while, being fed, and um, having time to go to the restaurant, so to speak. So it's not worrying about the stock market. It's not worrying about progress and innovation. It's not worrying about building a house or what clothes they will wear. There's so many things that are just only things humans care about. And then, in all the other scenarios where AI remains under our control, this is the alignment problem. Um, then it's just what we decide to do with it as human. And obviously, some people will use AI for greed and jealousy and so forth and so on, and they will use it for all the human vices. But then also other people are going to use it for good. I mean, there's people starting nonprofits and charities all the time because there's also good in humans. And, I'd like to think that humans, by and large, are more inclined towards good than towards bad. And that by consequence, I think AI will have more positive impact than negative impact.
I guess we can only wait. All right. Let's talk about the concept of pragmatic AI and delivering solutions that augment human capabilities. Could you expand more on what that means and perhaps share some examples you've seen firsthand?
Well, pragmatic AI is having having the ability to do the same work in less time. I think that's pretty pragmatic. Um, Having the ability to find things I said in the past and have infinite memory, I think that's pretty pragmatic. Um, Creating opportunities for developing economies where they did not need to hire 100 people to compete. Instead, they can just have a good idea and use AI to help them get to market quicker. I think that's pretty pragmatic. Um, and in other fields, the ability and the emerging capability of AI to help in scientific research to discover new medical treatments. I think that's pretty pragmatic. Um, I think many people would love to see cancer cured or to live longer, healthier. I think that's pretty pragmatic. Um, I think it's kind of like asking the question. Let's talk about the concept of pragmatic electricity. Um, I think electricity is pretty pragmatic. Depends how you use that power, but you can use it for pretty much anything you can think of.
Uh, so let's look longer term out to the, let's say, 2030s and beyond. So we're looking into the future, way into the future. What are your boldest predictions when it comes to how AI will reshape our economy and workforce? Do you have any concerns or hopeful outlooks around jobs and automation?
Okay. Anyone who doesn't want to work will not need a job. Anyone who wants to work We'll be able to start a company without needing a big investment. Um, we can extend human lifespan, healthy lifespan by 20 or 30 years. We discover new sources of energy commercially available in the form of fusion for everyone. We have breakthroughs that allow us to make our planet healthier and protect nature. We have endless entertainment, for better or worse. And I think um, we are doing a lot more soulcraft. When soulcraft, by that I mean not always working with our hands, but working with our soul. So if you do not have to work for money, then you can work for your passion and your what gives your soul nourishment. Soulcraft. So but I'll just make this small statement: is I always felt that slavery is not truly abolished while people have no choice but to work for food. I think it's an impossible choice. When you have to work for healthcare, when you have to work for food, when you have to work for basic necessity, and you have to do work against your will, you're not truly free. You have to do things in your life just because you have to survive. You're not truly free to be an artist. You know, um, if yeah, for example, would we have had World War II if Hitler was just continued to be a happy artist somewhere and didn't have to worry about surviving? Maybe not. But when people can just pursue their soul craft, their passions, they can truly be human. And I think we're going to have less conflict as a result of it. It just doesn't make sense to go rob a person when you have enough. Why would you go rob a person when you have enough, when there's so plenty for everyone? It's kind of like, if you have one toy and two kids, they might fight over that toy. But if both kids have all the toys they want, why would they be fighting? I think a lot of reasons for conflict can be removed. And so the individual satisfaction that we can get from life will just depend on the choices we make. It will not be restricted by our inability to pursue it because of some invention. What is money anyway? And it's hard for our generation to perhaps imagine a world without money. But why is there a need for money? If we have an abundance of robotic labor, an abundance of robotic intelligence, an abundance of energy from fusion that's non-polluting, why would we still have to pollute the planet or engage in work we don't enjoy, or work with colleagues we don't like, just because we have to survive? I think it's the next 20, 30 years is when we can really get rid of the unspoken forms of slavery in this world.
Yeah. Appreciate that. That was actually quite deep and powerful. All right. There's a general argument on social media, right? Still on jobs and workforce. There's a general argument on social media that AI is here to take jobs. Do you agree with this, or do you think AI will provide more jobs for people, or just take over?
Okay. In the short term, okay. Let's get let's address the elephant in the room, right? AI is replacing jobs already. So there's no need to pretend that AI is not going to take more jobs. Okay? This is a fact. Um, but to be honest, there are jobs that should be gone, right? 100 years ago, 70% of the population was farming. Now, because they're not farming, they can do things like uh, invent new science and arts and technology. We're freed up to do other things. So nobody would argue that 15 years from now, it will be a meaningful job to fill out spreadsheets or create PowerPoints. I mean, is that the meaning of life, right? So jobs are going to disappear. Um, so you're going to have, you're going to have, you're going to have a situation where capitalism becomes a problem because because artificial intelligence is creating so much abundance that it doesn't make sense anymore. Uh, and so for a while we go into this into these next few years, what you're going to have is um, deflation. So the world is worried about inflation, right? Governments print money, everything becomes more expensive. But a bigger problem is deflation, where uh, everything drops in price. So because AI makes everything so abundant, there's an oversupply of knowledge, an oversupply of robotic labor. You're starting to see deflation happen. When deflation happens, um, you can't sell things for as much money anymore, services, goods. That makes it harder to make a profit, right? It makes it harder to hire people because things don't sell for what they used to. Does that make sense? So
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, so what that means is over time, um, a lot of people will lose jobs, and it really is because of market efficiency that their job is just no longer needed. So you're going to have two groups of people. You're going to have people that use AI to their advantage and create brand new things and create new value. And then you're going to have groups of people who can't keep up with all the change and are kind of a little bit left behind. And so this is this is where the people of all countries and sovereign nations need to come up with um, societal answers to address that group of the population who is unable to create brand new value. And that does not mean poverty. It just means that let me put it this way. If healthcare became so affordable, I know families in America that pay $3,000 a month for healthcare, and when they go see a doctor, they still or get a scan done, they still have to pay $300 out of pocket. I know many people who don't even go and get healthcare even with insurance because it's too expensive. But what if technology and AI can make healthcare so affordable? Let's say what used to cost $1,000 now only costs $5 because of automation. Then it becomes very trivial and easy for people to have universal access to that, right? Without having to worry about paying for it. And so this is where we're talking about universal basic income. With universal basic income, you can take care of more and more people as the cost of goods drop. In today's world, you might say, well, $500 a month won't get very far in Western countries. But if everything becomes more affordable, then you can do a lot of things with that kind of money. So there are going to be job losses for the people who are able at this time to learn how to use AI in their job. If you love your job, learn how to use AI with your job. Think of it as a tool. So that would be my recommendation. But I would say that for capable, willing people around the world, AI is a great equalizer. It allows a four-person team in a developing country to collaborate with 100 AI agents and provide a service that previously could only be done by a Western corporation or Chinese corporation that had over 100 people on payroll. So four friends can get together and change the world, do something magnificent. So it's an equalizer. There's no longer a reason why you couldn't pursue your idea. And so I think that a lot of people will lose jobs in areas where the jobs no longer make sense. If you want to play in that new economy, you have to evolve. And if you don't want to evolve, we're going to have to take care of those people in our societies who are unable to.
Right. There's this thing they say that AI is not going to take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will end up taking your job.
Yeah, that that's actually just it's kind of telling your child everything will be all right. When as an adult you may not know if that's actually true. It's still comforting to say that to your child. The truth is AI is taking jobs. There's no way around it. Look how many writers have already lost their jobs and how many editors. You don't see anyone doing spell checking anymore for a living, right? Spell checkers are too good. What about translation software? What about voice actors? What about drivers very soon? I mean, to say that AI won't take your job is actually just a lie. It's not really honest. The truth is that in the short term, people who use AI will take your job. That is true. But to say that AI will not take your job is not true. You have to evolve and maybe do something different than what you used to do. Again, Susan is very skilled at making PowerPoint slides for the last 15 years. But you cannot imagine that 15 years from now, she will still have a job that values that skill. Susan has to change her specialty. Susan has to evolve. There is no other way. If you do not go with the times, you'll be left behind by the times. I do not say that to scare. I just say that as reality. I know people that are not capable of such change, but fortunately, there's a lot of unfinished work. You know how many people, older people in the West, are just lonely in retirement homes and never see people? I would say that is some important work for us to fix in the society. And I wouldn't send an AI to such people. I would send humans. There's a lot of work in this world that is not done. Why? Because we're too busy chasing profit and money. But the most valuable work is often unpaid. Think of motherhood.
So, as an expert bridging technology and business, what role do you see something like Web3 and crypto playing when it comes to revolutionizing marketing? I mean, I think I should not ask that. What gets you excited or cautious when you think about integrating blockchain, NFTs, or metaverse space into marketing strategies?
On the crypto front, not much. I think this is very overhyped. I think the web is already decentralized. I think you can make it more decentralized. But if you want to get excited about Web3, you should you should advocate and support the open executable web. meaning open API standards rather than walled garden AI application or extension stores. You should support open source. That is the best way to support the same ideals. Crypto can be a Ponzi scheme at times. I know a lot of people don't like to hear it, but a lot of people make money from a Ponzi scheme until it doesn't work. And a lot of people have lost money when the cycles go around. The fundamental technologies of blockchain and crypto that allow for decentralization, signing, all of those will be used in Web3, and all of those are sound. But you have to be really careful to create real value, not just imaginary value. NFTs are wishful thinking. I mean, and it goes to philosophy around what is the value of even a physical thing, right? But a physical painting by Picasso, right, made by his own hand, versus a world where AI can generate infinite versions of a Picasso painting. Having the original in your hand versus a million Picasso AI generated versions that look perfect and can be printed. What is the value of information? What is the value of digital goods? If AI can, what is the value of an ebook if AI can write it in 5 minutes time? Right? This goes to the supply and demand. What we need is an identity platform and content signing, not more money. We need a world without money. So yeah, the principles and technology behind crypto, I'm very positive on, but beware of financial schemes and get rich parts of the internet.
Okay. So my then follow-up question to what I just asked will be, when you see some of the most intriguing intersections happening when it comes to AI applications in Web3 contexts like the metaverse, NFT profiles, or decentralized networks, and what should marketers know about that crossover?
I think time will be a guide here. It's still very early days for the metaverse. Ultimately, I'm more excited about mixed reality than I am about virtual reality. Or I think the ability to have augmented experiences is very intriguing to me. Having shared augmented experience is even more intriguing. Imagine you had a party in your backyard and everyone had their glasses on and could share a movie together, and you didn't have to install an expensive projector or equipment. Imagine you could play kind of tennis in your grass in a grass field without needing an actual tennis court, because you could see a shared game environment. You can see that becoming very fun. You could imagine a world where you can all see Pokemon and raise them as pets, and you can have Pokemon battles with stranger you walk into without needing to have a special application or environment or screen to stare at. It's just part of what you're looking at. So I think those things are really exciting for brands. I think that things are going to become way more interactive and immersive as time goes on. And that is going to create a lot of opportunities for brands over time. But it's very early days. I don't think anyone has to lay awake right now. And nobody should be investing millions of dollars into pursuing this. Because the consumer market is not ready for it yet. Devices are not ready for it. The hardware is not ready for it. The technology needs a few more generations to mature.
Right. So, you've been in the AI field for over 15 years now. When you zoom out and look back, what milestones or breakthroughs over that timeline stand out most in terms of accelerating progress?
Um, Moore's law is still in effect. Um, so no matter how good our algorithms become, we're still limited by the amount of compute power. And the compute power is also limited by the amount of energy we can harness as a society. We need more energy use, not less, but hopefully from cleaner sources. And we need more compute power, not less. So that is the trajectory and the bottleneck for all this progress. The hope is that the current AI innovations will start contributing to the compute power innovations, and that will become a vicious cycle that will propel us into the future.
Right. So looking to the future, what gets you most excited? I mean, what do you hope to build or achieve next when it comes to leveraging AI to make a positive difference in the world?
Well, visit my startup, SmythOS.com. Having agents that can help you with your work and make you more efficient. That's what I'm excited about.
Right. Awesome. So, is there any word of advice for someone who's looking to get started in the AI space? What should they look out for? What do they need to know? And any advice that can help someone who's just looking to
Now, be playful and curious.
like, hey, playful and curious. Noted. All right. Thank you so much, Alexander, for an insightful and exciting conversation. It was so great learning so much from you. I mean, I learned a lot from this podcast episode, and I can't wait for everyone who gets to listen to this to apply some of the tips and tricks and strategies you shared and apply it to their daily learning or whatever it is they need to apply it to in their day to day and whatnot. And that wraps up today's episode of the Web3 Quick Buy podcast. We hope you enjoyed the discussion. And if you have any feedback or questions, please reach out on social media or send us an email at web3quickbytes@gmail.com. And thanks again to our guest Alexander for joining us. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more exciting content. So be sure to subscribe and tune in. Bye.